this is my honest review of the Mooer Prime P2 multi effects pedal, and I also have the Mooer GWF4 Footswitch with me here. So, I am not in any way sponsored by Mooer or any music store or whatever. This is my own opinion. I bought this with my own money, and my opinions here are my own. It might not be necessarily true for your unit. It depends. This is how I see the unit, the more prime, and in my use case, it might be different from yours. So point number one, I see the more that it's a good thing that it's very light, it's very portable. It's lighter than my phone. It's smaller than a power bank. Actually, the case is pretty. It feels borderline cheap. Um, but I think that's how they market it. It's light, but I think it's metal. It's not plastic, but it's really, really light. So to some people in the Facebook groups say that it feels really cheap and it feels like a toy. But for me, that's how that is the characteristic that makes this thing shine. It's really light and portable. It could um Another thing is the touchscreen here is protruding, so above. It's a little embossed from the casing, so you can't put an acrylic glass over that because like this somehow, because you can't put that because it's touchscreen. The only thing you can do there is maybe put a protective film like in your phone screen, right? um So maybe that's a deal breaker for you because they say you can put it in your pocket, but if you somehow graze it or break it, it would lose its functionality, right? Because it's protruding. The touchscreen, the round screen is protruding, and might be easily be damaged if you put it in your pocket. So if that's a deal breaker for you, um, so you might be wondering why I put it here. So when I was using it, it fell when I stood up and the instrument cables got snagged it and it went down to the floor. However, it didn't damage the unit. But from that point on, maybe two times, I just wanted to put a case on it. I've seen different cases like for this, for the more Prime P2. One is 3D printed like a buckle type system. So I made this so you can step on it, it can fall but won't damage the unit. The back part is a radiator for whenever you're using it or charging it, the heat dissipation will be improved, and it's pretty sturdy. Okay. um Next thing I would like to point out is that it works well with the app, Prime app. I've used it in my phone, tablet, and so far I haven't had any problems with that. However, I when you stream into the unit with let's say a backing track, I had to use another phone, so I wasn't able to play. So you can't record you can't play from the recording unit. So if ever you connect this via USB to an iPad and record the things you're playing, so you can't stream music into the unit with the iPad. So because I think it would make a feedback, right? Feedback loop. Input from the music streaming going here and then output in the record. So I think that's why it's not possible. So you have to use another unit, in my case, my phone, to stream a backing track into the Mooer Prime, and then I've connected the Mooer Prime to a tablet using USB cable, and then it records from there, and it also served as my app controller there. Okay, so there's actually two. Actually, there's a Bluetooth audio when you turn on your Bluetooth. So it's like a P2 audio, I think Prime P2. You can it pops up in your Bluetooth. It sees that, and that's actually the Bluetooth streaming Bluetooth. So when you turn on the unit, you just turn on your Bluetooth and then open the app, the Prime app on your phone, and it connects, right? If you want to stream, you have to look for that audio Bluetooth audio thing from the device. So you connect that, and then whatever you play from the unit will be heard in the more Prime P2. I hope you understand that part. Also, I think this runs on Bluetooth if I'm not mistaken. So when you turn it on after pairing, you have to pair it first. After pairing, it just connects instantly. You don't need to do anything. So I think that's a very convenient thing. Most especially if you're on the go, right? You just stream stuff from another unit, and all of this still works. So I think that's a very good thing. What annoys me for the more Prime P2 is when I'm charging it like this, it says 60%, 60%, and then it turns to 100%, and it just continues to be in 100%, even if it is not in 100% yet. Because when I take the charger off, it goes back to 60. It's quite annoying. See, 60% here, and then 100%. And whenever I'm charging, it says 100%. That's quite annoying for me. And it doesn't turn off the touch screen. The touch screen is always on while charging, and I hope they have a firmware update for that, because if this is OLED, it will have OLED burn and will degrade the screen much faster. And it's honestly just it's power consuming when you're charging and the LCD is still on. So I hope there's a firmware update that it will turn off the charging state when it's charging. You just click the unlock and it will show the charging status. I think that works best. It doesn't need to be always on. Plus, maybe in my unit, they should improve the display of the charging, because I think it's an error on my unit that it displays 100% even if it's still on the 60% battery charging status. Okay. Um, Number two is I wish there was a thing that when you're in in locked mode on the more Prime P2, it has like a phone lock and unlock. So and then when you click it, it becomes locked, right? So the lock screen, you can change parameters within the lock screen. It only displays the patch number and the patch name. I wish there was a way that you could show the above and below patches during this state, in the lock state. So when you are using this live, you can know what is above and below that patch number, and it will guide you in using the Footswitch. Okay, I hope there was that feature in the locked mode. And another thing I wish they did well was the MIDI implementation. MIDI implementation only allows you to control the patch up, bank up. It does not have a table of all the patches like MSB. So I did not actually use any MIDI controller for this because it's almost the same as this. You can what you can do actually if you have an external MIDI controller is probably control the drummer and looper, have a dedicated bank up and down. That's it. You can't. It does it. It's not. It's not MIDI implemented in a way that it has a MIDI number assigned to it every for every patch. So that sucks. What sucks also about this is I don't know if I'm right because it's always clipping. I've turned the input gain to -10, -20 dB. It still clips. I don't know. Are my pickups too hot? So what I do is just lower the volume of the pickups so it won't clip. But I don't know why it says it colors here red, but actually it's not clipping or it's I don't know. So more, please explain that why it looks like I'm clipping. Am I clipping or I am not quite sure of that. Another thing I hate about this is it has no trails, no tails. So there's delay and reverb have no tails. So when you switch patches every time, the the delay trail just stops and discontinues. So that might be a deal breaker for some people. Some people want it like even if they change patch the reverb and uh delay still go on. So it caveat it has no trails, delayed trails and reverb trails. Though there's no latency when using the Footswitch or even the app when changing patches. That's a good deal. Unlike some counterparts that have noticeable latency when changing patches. But you gain some, you lose some. You don't have any delay and reverb trails. Okay. What else? So in the GWF4, I love it because it just connects instantly when when you turn it on. What happened here is I put a customized pedal topper. I hate that it does not accept regular pedal toppers because I want my things to be at least protected. Like if you keep if these have no pedal toppers, they would get dirty and rust maybe in a couple of years. So I always put pedal toppers on my foot switches, and I had to make a custom pedal topper, break it down, and put some acrylic UV acrylic here so it's not removable anymore. However, in this setup, it will last me longer. So you don't need the app turned on if you're using, the More Prime. You could go gig with this in this just this. It accepts input from here and output is stereo TRS. It's unbalanced, so you need a DI box for that, so you can send it front of house. And another thing that bugs me is the in headphone jack. So the manual says it accepts TRRS jacks. So actually you can use an in-ear monitor with mic. So you can use this to stream. You play and then you stream and you talk through the mic on your in-ear monitor or phone, headphones, whatever. So it actually accepts TRRS. And in the mixer in the app, there's a mixer part wherein you can actually have effects on the vocals of that reverb. I think there's a delay. You can control that in the mixer in the app of the More Prime P2. However, I wasn't able to use. I used a TRS headphone, but to no avail. Done. I haven't checked that out. So maybe in your use case, I've tried splitting the TRRS to headphones and mic input. However, I wasn't. It wasn't. It didn't work. Even if I split it. So I don't know. Maybe in your use case, you need to use that. Just go on and maybe it will work for you. Okay. Overall, the best thing I noticed about this thing is its free numbers of blocks, and though there are no parallel processing, it's just straight, no wet, dry, wet, whatever. However, I love that you can put in any number of effects blocks. So I've stacked three delays on this thing, three delays, two reverbs, until the DSP chip runs out of computing power. So a technique I've developed is you don't use custom IRs if you want to have like really Kings of Leon type of reverb and delay going on. Just use a native maybe an amp and cab, an amp and cab MNRS. You don't separate the cab and amp on your on that preset. Just use the entire preamp and cab thing with more, so it will be less of a burden with the DSP chip, and you can add a lot more effects like two or three more delays. So I've actually demoed some of that, the patches I made, and it's available in the user MNRS app, via the app on this thing. You can download that under Picat Studios. So if you've heard the Kings of Leon type of patch I made, it actually has two delays, one in the front and one at the back. I think even three delays and a lot of reverb. It's really airy and nice to hear. So that's what I like about this. You can, though it has no trails, but you can actually create a lot of ambient stuff with this thing, and I honestly think that even the stock cab sim are so damn good and very well made. Though they I've had a Tonex before, so for example, the Dumble amp is not actually, it doesn't sound like a Dumble, not even close. But if you don't need to have that stuff like a really good Dumble amp sound, it's no problem, right? The all other amps sound good. The effects are really good. For my use case, I said I really would recommend this because, as I've said before, you can stack delays and reverbs. Even some effects don't can't do that at this price range. So for me, that's a really good a plus. For example, NUX MG30, you can put in a delay in the front of the amp. You can rearrange that. However, you can add effects blocks, right? So there's a fixed number here. You can until the DSP runs out. Overall, I think this is a really good buy. Just hear the caveats I made, the things I've mentioned. Like it's really it can easily be broken if it falls. About the pedal toppers, okay. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel, and I hope you find this informative in your purchase with the More Prime P2. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.